All right, everyone, and welcome back to our deep dive into the rat trap. So, in part one, we saw the peddler get this rare moment of kindness, only to turn around and betray that trust by stealing 30 kronor. Today, in part two, we're going to follow him as he runs from his crime and walks, well, straight into a trap of his own making. Let's see how this whole thing unfolds.
So, to really get a grip on the peddler's journey, we're going to break it down into these 6 key scenes. Following this structure will help us see exactly how each event pushes him deeper into crisis, and maybe, just maybe, a little closer to change.
Okay, so our story picks up right where we left off. The peddler has the 30 kronar. Now you'd think he'd be feeling guilty, right? But nope, not at all. In fact, he's feeling pretty good about himself, pretty pleased with how clever he thinks he is.
Just think about that for a second. It's a strange feeling, isn't it? The author here is tapping into something really human, that little burst of satisfaction you can get right after you do something you shouldn't have, right before the consequences come crashing down.
You know, his fear is totally justified. He knows he can't just wander down the public highway. And why is that? Well, look at him. The guy sticks out like a sore thumb. A homeless man dressed in rags with a bunch of rat traps clanking on his chest isn't exactly going to blend into a crowd. So he thinks, the woods, that's the smart move.
And this is where his so-called clever plan completely falls apart. The forest, which was supposed to be his safe escape, turns into this giant, confusing maze. He walks for hours and hours, only to realize he's not getting anywhere. He's literally walking in circles, trapped by the very decision he made to escape.
And now we get to a really pivotal moment in the story. This is where the peddler's own cynical philosophy, his whole idea about the world being a giant rat trap, comes back to haunt him in a very, very real way.
Remember his big idea that the world is a rat trap and it just sets out bait to tempt people? Well, those 30 kronor he stole, that was the bait. It was the little piece of cheese that he just couldn't resist.
And what's the trap? The moment he took that bait, snap, it slams shut. But for him, the trap isn't made of wire. It's this huge, confusing forest. All the tangled branches and confusing paths, they become the bars of his own personal prison.
And this, right here, is a perfect example of irony. This is a key literary device you really need to remember. The dark idea he used to judge everybody else, the philosophy he thought was so clever, it's now his own terrifying reality. He saw everyone else as a rat, and now he's the one caught in the trap.
This is a fantastic way to connect this story to our own lives. For you, the bait probably isn't stolen money. It might be the temptation to cheat on a test to get a good grade. But the principle is exactly the same, isn't it? We take the bait for that quick, short-term win, only to find ourselves caught in a much bigger trap with long-term consequences.
So, as if being totally lost wasn't bad enough, the situation is about to get even worse. As the day starts to end, notice how the author uses the cold, harsh December forest to show us exactly what's happening inside the peddler's mind. It's a mirror for his hopelessness.
This timeline really shows you how fast things go downhill. He starts the day on a high, feeling smart and successful. But by the evening, as that cold, dark Swedish winter night starts to close in, all that confidence is just gone. It's replaced by fear and the very real dangers of being alone in the forest.
The author uses a specific word here, gloom. Now, this isn't just feeling a little bit sad. Gloom is that deep, heavy, oppressive feeling that completely washes over you when you finally realize just how bad your situation is.
And then she uses an even stronger word, despair. This is so important. Despair is the complete and total loss of hope. It means he's given up. He sees no way out. He's exhausted, freezing, and he truly believes his life is about to end right there on the cold, hard ground.
So he collapses. He's convinced this is the end. And right at this moment of absolute total despair, the story gives us a little twist. It's a moment that almost feels magical, like something you'd read in a fairy tale.
Out of nowhere, he hears a sound, a regular, hard, thumping noise. It's the sound of a hammer hitting an anvil at an iron mill. This is what we sometimes call a deus ex machina in literature. Just when everything seems lost, a convenient solution just appears. It's an interesting choice, because let's be honest, real life rarely offers us such a magical rescue. So he follows the sound of hope, and it leads him to the Ramjo Arnen works. Now, you really have to pay attention to this setting.
It's not just a factory. It's a place that's loud, it's hot, and it is absolutely packed with symbolic meaning for our peddler's journey.
Inside this mill, there's this intense process of transformation happening all the time. Raw, impure iron gets melted down in this crazy hot furnace. Then it gets hammered and beaten into shape. It's a place where a raw material is purified and made into something new and much, much stronger.
And this leads us to one of the most powerful themes in the whole story. The iron mill is more than just a place, it's a symbol for personal transformation. The idea here is that just like impure iron has to go through fire to be purified and strengthened, human character is forged in the furnace of hardship and struggle.
So the peddler has finally reached physical safety. But the welcome he gets, or the lack of a welcome he gets, tells us everything we need to know about his status in society.
He just walks into the noisy forge, and the blacksmiths barely even look at him. To them, he's invisible, just another homeless guy looking for a warm place to sleep, an intruder not worth their time. The master blacksmith doesn't even talk to him. He just gives him this arrogant, haughty nod. This is such a powerful comment on how society often treats its most vulnerable people with total indifference.
And the peddler himself, he doesn't expect anything different. He understands how the world works for him. He isn't looking for a conversation or for kindness. He is there for one reason: survival. He needs warmth and a place to sleep. He's just accepted that this is his reality. And this leaves us with a really important question to think about. Physically, sure, he's escaped the trap of the forest. He's safe from the cold and the dark, but is he truly free? No way. He's still trapped by his poverty, by what he did, and by a society that just looks right through him. His journey to find real freedom, well, that has only just begun.
Thank you for watching. If you found this explanation helpful, please like, share, and subscribe to my YouTube channel, The Ace Archive. See you in the next video.